If you think Marvel Cosmic Invasion is just a cash grab reskin of Shredder's Revenge, you are mistaken, though I can't blame you for thinking that if you just watched the trailer. Tribute Games' follow-up is done in the same art style as Shredder's Revenge. It feels the same in a lot of ways, regarding the impact of hits, the physics, the juggles. T-Lopes is back doing the soundtrack, but the improvements made to the gameplay are so notable that Cosmic Invasion has left Shredder's Revenge in the dust as it speeds off to greater, more fantastical places. I was somewhat invested in seeing Shredder's Revenge be better. While I enjoyed the game enough to put it in my best of the year list, most of my review was pretty critical of the gameplay. The campaign was long and exhausting, the bosses were unfun to fight, and contradicted the combo-based design at the game's core. That combo system itself was shallow and unrewarding. Each character's super attack was way too similar to make experimentation much fun, and the lack of iframes on grabs was such an issue that I lobbied for its change multiple times throughout the year, and did the biggest victory lap of my career when they actually updated the game half a year later to include it. But Shredder's Revenge was always going to have the problem of why. Why is there a combo juggle system if there's no reason to use it? The enemies aren't high enough in HP to warrant it, the bosses can't be juggled at all, ever, the combo counter means absolutely nothing because there's no point bonus or style meter or health regen or timer extension or damage bonus. It's just an arbitrary number that goes up. But the worst thing is that while combos do build your super meter, and that's cool, it's so incredibly generous that you get a super within seconds of just hitting people mindlessly. And the game sabotages its one great design choice, which is to allow the juggling of dead enemies to contribute towards building a single super bar of your 3 super bar limit. That's great, a reason to learn how to extend combo juggles and bounce a dead enemy around a bit to get a little more super bar for the next fight. Or it would be great if the game didn't also give you a single button option to simply charge a free super at any moment, making the aforementioned juggle charge mechanic a complete waste of time. Unless you play on arcade mode and manually disable the supercharge option, but that was added to the game 6 months later. You can feel it coming, can't you? Am I gonna do it? Yep. I'm going to talk about Streets of Rage 4 now. After experiencing the genius that was Streets of Rage 4's resource-focused juggle system, it's hard to see any other combo-based beat-em-up the same way. Combos weren't just flashy, varied, and fun. Maintaining combos increased your points multiplier, and points gave you extra lives. You wanted to hold that combo and practice ways to extend it as a means of surviving, while at the same time playing defensively enough to not get hit, because the multiplier resets to 0. It was an addictive risk-reward system that was further elevated by the fact that combos regenerated the green health you were using from your invincible special attacks, which you were defensively using to keep your combos going. And once enemies were dead, they could be juggled to regain more of that green health if you were skilled enough. Going from that to Shredder's Revenge 2 years later was like going from slow-cooked barbecue ribs to a ham sandwich. Ham sandwiches are good, but I'm not sitting in traffic for one, you know? So when Marvel Cosmic Invasion was announced, from the creators of Shredder's Revenge, I was looking very closely at what was going on. Okay, it looks nice, Marvel characters, lots of unique super animations, that's all great, but has the core gameplay been fixed? I see lots of cool combos, multi-character extensions. Does it mean anything? Well, after all that preamble, I can finally get to the game itself and say yes! The core gameplay of Marvel Cosmic Invasion is a significant step up. Let's break it down into a few points. 1. Super regen through combos is massively nerfed, whether it's on living or dead enemies. If you want a super, you have to work for it. Otherwise, you'll have to depend on the slow auto regen, which is something you can turn off in arcade mode if you choose, though I don't think it's necessary. 2. Temporary health is now a mechanic, allowing you to regen that health through combo damage a la Streets of Rage 4, albeit quite slowly. 3. The entire 15-member cast has unique movement options, juggle strings, launchers, assists, and supers that create an astonishing variety of tag team combo opportunities. 4. Multiple high health, high danger enemies are perfect targets for focused damage through extended combos, rewarding players who invest the time into learning team synergy and who know how to capitalize on an incidental launch. And 5. Bosses enter stun states where they can be juggled somewhat and can later be styled on when they die to try to regain your health for the next stage. Since your health carries over on arcade mode, it's really important to build back as much health as you can. Guys, it's so good. It's actually better than both Shinobi and Absalom, which are the games made by the people who did Streets of Rage 4. I praised both of those titles because they carried on the SOR4 combo philosophy, but those games only tie combo juggles to the focus bar. Cosmic Invasion ties it to both the focus bar and your health regen. The core of this game is fantastic. Everything else is just a compliment. Aside from some bugs, like the occasional enemy becoming invincible to melee attacks, or the occasional super just becoming an invisible projectile of nothing, the game is pretty well made with opportunities for improvement. My team is Wolverine and Iron Man. I use Logan's long-range melee to set up his launcher and tag in Iron Man, who has an air combo string. His aerial juggles connect to Logan's aerial tag, which is downwards, continuing juggles on the ground into a grab or another combo string and a tag or a super. There's just such a wonderful flow going on. Charge attacks return, this time being different for each character. Wolverine's is a block state that absorbs damage like armor, attacking through it, while Iron Man shoots an energy ball that stays on screen, awesome for crowd control and setting up juggles. Shielded enemies can be countered by these charge attacks, with Iron Man's being particularly useful in this case. Enemy AI is aggressive and varied, constantly trying to counter you for staying in the air too long, and filling the screen with projectiles. In an interesting decision, grabs are not a default option, which means no traditional beat-em-up iframe strategies. Instead, characters either have an iframe dodge or a parry with a forgiving window. Your other defensive option is to activate a super for iframes, which you'll be doing regularly. Some characters actually have grabs as part of their moveset. While the special attack button for Iron Man shoots a recharging projectile, Wolverine lunges forward into a grab. When he throws the enemy, he's granted a classic beat-em-up iframe state. Personally, I think this is a cool decision. Playing a character with no grab makes me more aware of my positioning and their particular strengths, while I switch to my grab character when I need that playstyle. I don't know if it's intended this way, but nearly every boss can be grabbed in a loop for their entire first health bar. It's pretty crazy. After that, you can use a grab state to cancel their attacks and call an assist to take advantage. Grabs are incredibly powerful, and they attempt to balance them by making their startup state vulnerable and giving some enemies defensive states where they can't be grabbed. If you just run around grabbing like Andrew Cuomo, you could take damage from it. And there's a terrible input problem that causes a lunging attack to go in the opposite direction than where you're pressing. It's like you're locked into an attack direction, so even though you're holding away, the game only registers the grab input. It's insanely frustrating and has even ended a few runs. Something about the targeting also causes your assist to target enemies you're no longer focused on. I'll kill someone, turn around to attack someone else, call the assist, and he comes in to attack the previous guy. It's confusing and makes assists not nearly as useful as they could be. I know it's probably a really tricky thing to get right, balancing the need to attack the next enemy you're facing with needing to juggle the enemy the player last made contact with, but I think some more fine-tuning could be done to make this feel better. Holding the assist button and pressing a different face button will cause a quick assist attack like a combo string, a grab, a heavy barge, and pressing the super button will bring them in for an assist super, which is so damn useful since you can keep moving and attacking while they do it. But the controls for this are very awkward, and I have a proposed solution. So you have R1 for super, L1 for assist. You hold L1 and press R1 for the assist super, but half the time the super doesn't trigger and I just end up switching characters. And then there's the double super, which is pressing L1 and R1 at the same time, which is like the assist super call but with different timing. What I'd like them to do is just make R2 the assist super, its own button. Then you can do both at the same time, or just the assist, or do both with a delay between them. No more holding L1 for the assist super, please. Calling an assist attack uses a small amount of the main character's focus bar, but the assist's actions will build some of their own focus if they make contact. It's a cool way to build the super attack of your assist character or rebuild a bit of their temporary health. It's great when you're juggling multiple dead enemies and you pull in your assist character just to rebuild some of their resources. The more familiar I get with the game, the more I value the Cosmic Swap Launcher, L1 plus jump. This attack starts an aerial combo from the ground. Iron Man's is a knee that brings in Wolverine's dive bomb. Wolverine's is an upward slash that connects to Iron Man's air combo. It's very fun to pull off, and I imagine it could go on to be one of the more important attack options, given how well it seems to establish the connection to your teammate. The default story campaign is suitably challenging for casual play, ideally with a friend or a group. Grab some chips and soda and just have a good time. Arcade mode, however, is a clear message that Tribute Games heard the criticism of the hardcore fanbase and that they will not be ignored. 3 difficulty settings are available with a bunch of unlockable modifiers to tweak individual aspects of difficulty. I'm particularly a fan of the modifier that makes the focus bar not auto-regen, but I'm actually not good enough to play with it. I can't wait till I can though. Double enemy HP, faster enemies, you can turn this into a nightmare if you want. Now that I've spent a couple dozen hours in the game, my opinion is that double enemy HP unlocks the true potential of Marvel Cosmic Invasion. It was way too much for me when I tried it in the first hours, but now that I can more or less play well, I can handle it. It really pushes the combo system and your meter management. Supers being half as effective simultaneously makes them less and more valuable. You can't depend on them for easy kills a lot of the time, but it's also important to have them for crucial moments of iframes, setting up tag combos with a guaranteed launcher, and saving up for the kill shot. I like most of the bosses, more or less, mostly because they're just better than what Shredder's Revenge offered, and they're way more fun to play solo when you have a tag team. Fighting Shredder's Revenge bosses as just one character was pretty miserable. For me, the hardest bosses so far are Null and Phyla Vel. God, I struggle with them, I swear. I still have no idea how to handle Phyla. Leave a comment about how she's the easiest boss in the game. Ultimately, with the inclusion of a limited continue arcade mode, the game's challenge and mechanics should be evaluated on that mode, because it's the one that's going to hold you accountable. And this actually ties into a little controversy that was found in the Action Game Twitter discourse about a month ago surrounding Ninja Gaiden. There was a lot of bickering back and forth about the value of combos, and whether or not action games with an emphasis on long stylish combos are a good thing. I just want to say, Marvel Cosmic Invasion is an excellent example of combo-based design done right. The main critique of combo-based action games, as I understand it, is that the emphasis is on doing crazy stylish stuff while enemies simply don't have a way to contest it. The point is to be stylish, not to engage with a challenging game that demands you engage in intelligent systems. Cosmic Invasion does have combos at its core, but it's also a game where enemies are constantly trying to fuck you up. If you want to do long extended combos, you need a lot of dedication to understand the game, the enemies, and your team synergy. No one is coming into this game and just automatically doing 200 hit combos, no damage, where the enemies don't fight back. Long combos are the reward of commitment and knowledge, and they feel amazing to finally pull off when there's a deadly enemy that needs to be taken off the board immediately. This ninja guy here, he's a problem. High health, has an armored wake-up attack. When I finally figured out how to kill him in a single extended combo, I felt so damn good. And that's how a game like this should make you feel when you spend a lot of time in it. As this is a game with assists, it's very important to keep both members of your team alive, which is easier said than done. Wolverine has an advantage as a self-healing character, but my poor Iron Man depends solely on pickups. They are fairly uncommon, and a lot of them are not shared across the team. You'll have to switch to the character who needs help the most, which is a cool part of the design. If you're playing solo and one character dies, you're in for a world of hurt. Half your focus supply is gone, your combos are gimped, and there's a few late game enemies with grabs that simply cannot be escaped if you can't tag in your partner. Occasionally you'll come across red gems that can resurrect a dead character, but there's also this really cool feature where a full heal will actually bring them back with a very small amount of health. You'll have to protect them long enough to find more healing items and get them back into fighting shape. But often these full heals will be found right before a boss, so you'll get your partner back, but it's dangerous to use them because they could just die again. You gotta be smart about the assist calls, but it's good to have that extra super. I know all the footage you're seeing is of Wolverine and Iron Man, but they're my characters, and I prefer to focus on one team and master them instead of jumping around. So sorry about that. The cast is diverse, a little wacky, and I hope they add more characters. You'll unlock a bunch of color palettes for each hero, but for some reason those colors aren't preserved when you use a continue in arcade mode, or there's no way to select colors when choosing which character to spawn in. The story is, I don't know, Annihilus is a weird Fantastic Four villain, I think, and he's gonna do something. You gotta go to a bunch of different worlds and fight both villains and heroes under his control. It's standard, whatever, but I imagine most casual fans aren't gonna know who this guy Annihilus is, and the game does a poor job of establishing him. And yeah, that's Marvel Cosmic Invasion. It's pretty damn good. It's a fine mix of casual 90s arcade fun and serious hardcore challenge. I think it's still accessible enough to have fun with your young kids if that's what you liked about Shredder's Revenge, but it's nice to have something for the other side too. Thanks, see you later.